We've massaged our unit tests. I'm sure there's errors all over in the code. We'll find that later. But in the meantime, we need to eliminate this row 2 from the Matrix2DH. So if you remember, this is going to be, we will assume a 0 here, and assume a 0 here, and assume a 1 here. So if these are zeros, I can completely eliminate them. And then the 1 right here, I just need to eliminate that portion. Same thing here. Get rid of this. And I can get rid of that. And then look at this. We don't need to do any of this work when we multiply. I can just eliminate all of that. In fact, control L, and grab this, bring it up like so. Okay, I'm going to build and ask the compiler what else I have missed. IntelliSense warnings. Go away. Alright, op2 identifier not found. What's the problem here? Matrix2DH is undefined. Did I forget? Control home to go to the top of the file. I did. I forgot to pound include math/matrix2DH. Very good. Control shift B. Build started. Identifier still not found. Undefined. Yeah, it is. I went over here and right click, open it up. It's right there. And oh, the header guards vaporized our includes. So there you go, copy and paste at its finest. You think after more than a decade Jamie would be able to copy and paste correctly, but guess what, I can't. So obviously there's dangers here. Matrix2DH is still undefined. Yeah, we probably need a using for it. Math Matrix2DH build again. Vector3D, no appropriate default constructor available. Let me click on Vector3D. We do have a default constructor because all of these parameters have default values. So what is the personal problem here? Generally, I've found with C++ if the, I'm going to pin this, if the first error doesn't help you, sometimes the following ones will. Victim prime redefinition, of course, because we did a copy paste job. I have victim here, and then I have victim here, and I have victim prime and victim prime. Now, one way I could solve this is by dropping a 2 here, but then I need to do my due diligence to make sure I get 2s on everything, and that's error prone, so I'm not going to do that. Instead, what I'm going to do is simply introduce another level of scope, like so, so that the names victim and op and all that, control KF. Now these op lives in this scope right here, and then op2 lives in this scope. And to even show you, I don't need to do that anymore because it has its own naming scope. Control shift B, build. Looks like we have the same problem right here. So I hope you have your resolution turned up extremely high. I record these in HD so that I can sometimes bump down to these really low fonts. Victim, like so. Yep, I'm gonna control KF this, and then same thing here. Victim, control KF, like so. But I believe identity. That's kind of weird. I wasn't paying attention there. Oh wait, no, it is. That's fine. So I'm going to move this curly brace up here. Man, I can't even see where I'm at. Control V. And if it's blurry to you, don't worry about it. It's blurry to me as well. I'll fix that in a minute. I'm just trying to place these curlies where it makes sense. Highlight all this. Control KF to make sure we get the proper indentation. And I think we're good. Control Shift B. Build again. The matrix looks like I have the same issue. Let's see, what's this? No suitable. Yeah, same thing. Scoping issues. I should have thought about this when I originally did all this copy and pasting. Highlight all this. Control KF. Format. I'm going to get rid of these breakpoints here. Control Shift 9, Control Shift B. Oh, lovely. The errors are gone, and then we have several more. Oh, okay, well, whatever. I was doing a lot of copy paste. I expect it. Expect float equal. Oh, I thought I was being pretty clever here. Remember I did these template functions? I said, oh, we'll generalize it. And it could be a Matrix3D or it could be a Matrix2DH. And it looks like here, obviously, only Matrix3D will have row 2, column 0, or row 2 anything. Alright, so when I say T-op, and if T is a Matrix2DH, that's where these errors are coming from, and saying, hey, Matrix2DH essentially doesn't have this stuff. Right? It doesn't have row 2s, and oh, I thought I was being so clever. But if you notice the pattern here, everywhere I test row 2, yeah, it is 001. Alright, that's the whole reason why we made the Matrix2DH is 001, 001. Oh, look, another 001, 001, all of these. So what? How can we fix this? I'm going to pause the video, think about it. You should pause the video and think about it too, and then come back, and maybe your idea is better than what I'm going to do if I come up with something. Okay, I was messing around and I actually came up with something that's clever but could be considered dangerous, and maybe your approach is better than mine, and if it is, please put it in the comments. But I notice here row 2 is 001, 001, 001, always 001. And I tried to do some fancy work with a preprocessor, but that didn't work out. And so well, just watch what I'm going to do. I know when I say Matrix3D, if I can go, where's my Matrix3D class? Right here. It is 6 floats. Or 9 floats, sorry. Woo, long day, okay. 9 floats. Well, if I can draw 9 floats like this. Alright, I can say there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 floats. Oh, wait a minute. Any idea what this looks like? Your computer science professors have probably drawn similar structures on the whiteboard at the front of the room. It's an array. Which is funny because I could come in here and say, hey, make an array of 9 floats, and the Matrix3D data structure would be exactly this. Alright, it's laid out exactly in memory, regardless of whether I name them or actually make an array. It's still an array of 9 floats. So my dirty little trick, probably frowned upon by many professionals, but I'm not scared. I know it'll work. So let's do this. I'm going to say template class T eval void evaluate last row, and let's use some reflection. Oh no, reflection's slow. Yeah, how slow is it? Do you really know? It's probably pretty slow, but this is a unit test, and I'd rather my unit tests be strong unit tests than trying to save a few nanoseconds of my life. Anyway, if type ID, check the type ID of T, and if that's equal to the type ID of Matrix3DH, or not 3D, just 3D like that. All right, there's my reflection, meaning, hey, go check the type. All right, I know it's supposed to be some general T, but if it really is the Matrix3D, we need to do some extra work. So I hate this special case code, but I think it's better than nothing. I'm going to say const float star p gets, we need a parameter here, const t reference op for operator, reinterpret cast to const float star the address of op. I know that op is an array of 9 floats. Let me draw it again. Alright, here's our array. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I can reinterpret op. Op is the name of the beginning. It's a reference, a name to the beginning of these 9 floats, and so I can reinterpret that. I can take the address of it and reinterpret that address as a float pointer, which it is. It's just a pointer to 9 floats. Even if it wasn't a pointer to 9 floats, I could still reinterpret it and do something weird with it, but whatever. And then I want to, let me take this off here. Let's do this. And this is going to be a little unruly, but oh, I need uint. Where's my uint? Pound include. Pound include. I can't remember where we put it. Miscellaneous? Type defs? That's right. Make sure it's alphabetical. Okay, good. Control minus. Get back to where we were. Uint. Const uint. Num elements in first 2 rows. Why am I making a big ugly constant? Well, documentation is good, especially for me, especially for anybody else who may come along and maintain this. And so I think this is much nicer than just saying, hey, magic number 6. It's magic. It just showed up. Don't ask what it means. All right, let's just do pointer arithmetic plus equals num elements in first 2 rows. Just a refresher for your C++. So P is originally pointing here. I say plus equals num elements in first 2 rows, which when you add a pointer to an integer, it's the integer times the size of whatever you're pointing at. The size of a float on Win32, what we're doing here is 32 bits. So anyway, it'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now P is pointing here, and these should always be 0, 0, 1. Okay, remember we're kind of wasting away in Matrix3D. It should always be a 0, 0, 1. So now I can do some even more pointer arithmetic. Let me just grab, I'm going to grab this right here. Control C, Control V, highlight, Control KF. And now instead of this, I'm going to say star P++. Alright, and star P++. And then star P++, but no plus here because I don't want P to point out to here. So I'm going to be somewhat intelligent with my stupidity here. Anyway, lively debate. Is this a good approach or not? Can you come up with something better? Yada yada yada. Now all I need to do is call this function everywhere I see this pattern here, row 2 with 0, 0, 1. So delete that, Control V, and we pass op here, Control KF, Control LL, copy this, and then basically over all these, Control V, Control V, oopsie, come on, Control V, Control V. Wow, there's a lot of these. Control V, Control V. So now I still get my tests. Probably not as elegant, but I still get my tests, and I don't have to copy and paste all the code inside of this function around. I can just call the function over and over again. Control Shift B. Let's ask the compiler if there's anything else we need to address. Missing type specifier. It's not looking like it doesn't find the uint. Open document. Yeah, it's right there. Oh, it's the Jamie namespace. Where is that? JE ::. Look at me being so picky just for uint. I could say int here. Ooh, build succeeded. Build succeeded. All right. Our unit tests are good to go. We're building. I can't think of anything offhand. What else we got to do? So Control F5. And, oh, look at this. It's all green. Going green is good. I feel like a tree hugger. All right. Next video.